As cliche as it sounds, the only thing hotter than our Las Vegas temperatures is our boiling real estate market, as summer is the new spring. Hello everyone, and welcome to the August edition of the Monthly Market Update for Southern Nevada. And in this issue, we'll address many items that have probably been on your mind, or should be, pertaining to the housing market conditions. While new listings increased healthily in July, they have been unable to quench the insatiable buyer appetite, as virtually the same number of homes sold as were listed. Those sales marked a 14.5% increase from July 2019. And as predicted last month, July experienced the highest closing volume of the entire year, as all the early pandemic sales finally consummated. Different from my predictions, however, it appears that August may exceed July's closing performance. And counterintuitive with our crisis, home values have continued to rise through the pandemic, as we experienced a 1.5% increase in July alone, while year over year has been just under 9%, and the average days on the market remain a brisk 41 days. These impressive numbers prove that low inventory and lower interest rates should continue to fuel the market for months or years to come. And speaking of lower interest rates, most people are surprised when we share that housing affordability has increased significantly from a year ago, despite home values appreciating. In fact, while home prices have increased 97 months in a row, affordability is the highest it's been since 2016, as buyers today can afford an additional $32,000 in home price for the same payment as a year ago. Despite the facts, it is quite understandable that the lack of certainty, specifically in the area of Southern Nevada's hospitality and service industry employment, has created skeptics as to the longevity of our housing seller's market. So much so that CoreLogic, one of the country's most respected real estate analytics firms, recently predicted the 5 markets that would be most impacted by the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. And yes, Las Vegas was on the list. CoreLogic expects Southern Nevada home prices to drop by over 11% by June 2021. What do you think of that prediction? Because we don't agree. Why? First, we are almost into September and property values continue to rise and typically flatten towards the end of the year. So that would mean property values would need to drop even more than the 11% prediction in a short 6 months. That is not in the cards, as our continued low inventory could afford a significant increase to meet current buyer demand, and interest rates are expected to remain at record lows, continuing to fuel that buyer demand. To be fair, government intervention through paycheck protection programs has prevented the true impact of our unemployment crisis. And that is exactly what it was designed to accomplish, a softer landing for those most impacted. Additionally, the fact that most Southern Nevada homeowners are sitting on the largest amounts of equity in decades, and that the debt per capita is almost half of what it was during the Great Recession, and you might begin to appreciate the significant differences between the pandemic crisis and the recent Great Recession. One thing is for sure, however, if you do have concerns about the near future of the housing market and have considered selling, now remains the absolute best time to do so. Let's wrap this up with 3 specific positive news stories. First, Warren Buffett, the world's most savvy and followed investors, who has been very quiet during the pandemic, recently committed over $5 billion with a B into the stock market, buying back shares of his own company, which he obviously considers undervalued. This is a sign that many other investors have been waiting for confidence in the future of our economy. Next, California's challenges continue to benefit Nevada, as a recent tax bill may raise taxes on the wealthiest from 13.3% to 16.8%, further increasing the demand for Southern Nevada real estate as the Californication continues. And finally, businessman and media executive Barry Diller recently expressed his confidence in Las Vegas, the hospitality and gaming industry, and specifically MGM Resorts International by investing over $1 billion, also with a B, to obtain a 12% interest in the company. Why? Because he believes in the future of the #1 industry in Southern Nevada, and so do we. Thank you as always for making Coldwell Banker Premier Realty your real estate company of choice. And if you'd like to receive copies of the information we reference in this video, please contact the sales professional responsible for you receiving it. Again, stay safe, healthy, and cool, and we'll see you next month. and go Knights go! Bye-bye!